Hello and welcome to the Illuminates of Thanateros and me. And today we have with us Mr. Kite, who is the section head of the British Isles section of the Illuminates of Thanateros, a priest of chaos, and the author of the site The Kite's Cradle. Welcome, Kite.
Thank you.
And how are you today?
Yeah, I'm really good, really good. Of course, in context, here we are, something like 8 weeks into lockdown for COVID-19. It's been a very trying time for everybody, and I've been very lucky, I've got to say. I've got housemates that are really, really cool. Nice, pleasant place to be. Room on the front doorstep to sit out in the sun and drink beer, and things to make and do. So I've been very, very fortunate in my setting in what's otherwise for all of us a really, really trying time. So I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, that's great to hear you're doing so well in these difficult times. So tell us a bit then about how you first became interested in chaos magic and in the Illuminates of Thanateros.
Well, all right. You have to understand from the start that I had no interest in magic when I was a kid. I wasn't interested, didn't care. I read science fiction, that's fiction with science in it, no wizards. And though I liked the old Hammer horror movies, well, you don't go believing in that stuff, do you? It's for fun. And it was 1997 before I decided that totally randomly to look into this weird rubbish called magic, because it was something I wouldn't normally touch with a shitty stick, and was therefore a blank spot that needed exploring. And I did that, and I found that it was really, really interesting, because even though I didn't have to believe anything in particular, it worked. And that was the major first revelation, if you like. I'd really only accepted going into magic on the understanding that I didn't have to sign up to a dogma. And so when I stumbled across chaos magic pretty quickly, I thought, hey, found my brand, and did dogma-free magic, essentially. After years of trundling along quite nicely at this, becoming a fairly good sorcerer, being able to extend my previous interest in mysticism, I got to the point where I didn't believe I was going to get much further unless I could have a peer group to share with. And obviously in chaos magic, you find that in the reading it's always, well, these were exemplified by the Illuminates of Thanateros. And I thought, well, maybe I should get in touch with these people and check them out. So I did. And I went along to one of their public seminars, talked to a lot of them quite extensively, sounded them out. And then when I got home, put in my application to sign up. And that was in 2004. 2005, I became a neophyte of the Pact. And, well, here we are.
And great it is to have you here.
So some people say, yes.
So one of the things I find interesting about your story is that you took up magic because it was a blind spot. Now, looking at the novice program in the IoT, metamorphosis is a very large part of that. And it appears to me that you were doing that even before you were practicing magic.
Yeah, I was. When I was a kid, I was just another good Catholic kid. And then when at the age of 16, I got switched on, had one of those conversion experiences, and began to explore what it meant to be a Catholic in an age where only saints were allowed to do miracles. And mysticism, that the prayer life was for the very few. And I thought this was a bit wrong. So I went and talked to a lot of Pentecostals who, of course, traditionally hate Catholics. They loathe Catholicism. But I was the only Catholic Pentecostal on the block for years. When I eventually left Christianity behind, my first port of call out of there was Taoism. And that's where I learned that what I'd been doing all along was mixing elements, some of which would work well together and some of which wouldn't. And Taoism is where I first realized that things worked in systems, leading, of course, later on to cybernetic magic, information theory, and all that. But at the time, I was interested in Taoism. I was always a fan of Bruce Lee and his way of approaching martial art, which was, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is specifically your own. So I did that. And I used that as a way of filtering my experience. I'd periodically just find a new thing randomly to get into, just to shake up the mix a little bit. And I discovered neurolinguistic programming for psychological, dogma-free things to do, techniques that would shake things up. I discovered, martial arts of different sorts to change about my energy systems, my understanding of how bodies work and how people interact. And then I discovered magic, which was a way of looking at how to engage with all that is the universe. So yeah, just an expanding field of taking on new things.
That's quite a story, from Catholicism to evangelical to Taoism to martial arts into magic.
That is cheese, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's brilliant, and it seems to me that a lot of the ideas surrounding chaos magic you built up on your own before you actually came to it, and this solidified a lot of the ideas you already had.
Yeah, absolutely. I found chaos magic and just said, wow, found my brand, and just went for it.
So I can see why you're interested in chaos magic, but you've been in the magical order, the Illuminates of Thanateros. You must be going on 16 years now, and are now in the position of section head. So what has actually made you stay for this length of time and commit yourself so much to this magical group?
Well, firstly, I joined the pact because, as I said, I needed a peer group. I needed colleagues. I needed people to work with, learn from, bounce off, and grow with. Because we're a herd species. We need our own kind. We need others like us. And I stayed because I was very lucky to have found just such a peer group. I'm not a fan of official magical orders as such. I think they're all top-heavy hierarchies and a waste of time, full of dogma, and exactly the sort of thing I wanted to avoid all my life. But in the pact, I got those people, and they have delivered on my expectations. And then the more I've got into it, of course, as you do very often when you're with others in any field of activity, some people just grow and expand their scope, their horizon, and want to do more and just want to see things happening on a bigger scale. And my progress in the pact has been very much with every grade, taking on a bit more, taking on a wider responsibility. I became a priest of chaos because even magicians sometimes need to consult a magician, and we do. I became an adept because the pact agreed with me that I had that thing about making sections grow, to want to grow an entire section of fantastic magicians like the ones I knew. And what a privilege and a joy to be able to have a hand in that, So that's why I think I'm now in the big picture and the long game.
Wow. Good. tell us a little bit more about the role of the Priest of Chaos?
Okay, well, you know that the gods are traditionally a set of very powerful beings, but you'll notice that pantheons tend to have one god that they turn to when they're in the shit.
Yeah.
Okay, the Norse gods have got Thor,
Mm-hmm.
for example, yeah?
Yeah.
The Hindu deities have got Hanuman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a priest in a community of people who are their own priests, a priest of chaos is one that they themselves can turn to for help, for pastoral care, or that somebody on the outside who can sort of give them the nudge, give them the hint, maybe even actually give them the magical help, even though under normal circumstances, of course, they do it themselves. And that's quite a privileged role. It's quite a special role, and it means you need to have your shit together yourself. You know, we don't need nutters. We don't need nutters creating nutters. We need sane people creating sane people. And, well, for whatever reason, somebody thought I was sane enough to do this.
Well, you're doing very well.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you on board. So thank you for sharing that with us. That was fantastic. And I do look forward to seeing what the next 10 years is going to bring.
Yeah, me too. We are in interesting times, and we owe it to ourselves and our cultures to take those interesting times and give them a damn good shake. Let's do this.